What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Rustbucket Ranch. On this episode, I'm going to be introducing y'all to my newest purchase, a 1955 Chevy 6500. I bought this thing for a whopping $200. It's a little rough, but it's got some good bones on it. On my video about the utility bed, you might remember that I gave a little hint that I purchased another item. Well, this happens to be it. I just couldn't see it get scrapped, and for the price he gave me, I just had to have it. Now, I've known about this truck for a few years, but I was never able to catch anybody on the property to see if I can purchase it. Well, finally, one day after driving home from work, there was a guy there. I stopped and I basically asked him if I could look at this truck, and he pretty much just gave me a price on the spot right when I asked him if he'd be down to sell it. I don't know the exact plans for this truck. Either it's going to become a parts truck or I'm going to turn it into yet another project, as if I need yet another project. But let's take a closer look at it. So what I've been told is that this truck was purchased sometime in the 80s from an auction. It actually used to have a big box on the back of it. After the auction, they loaded it up, took it to the property, took the box off to use it as like a little storage building. They parked the truck and never messed with the truck again. So this truck has been sitting for quite a while. And as I mentioned, 6500, I believe it's a 2-ton truck, and it's pretty rough. She's a little crispy underneath. Got an auxiliary fuel tank, some multi-piece rims, a 2-speed vacuum actuated rear end. It's a monster of a pumpkin, and it's extremely long. And one thing I noticed is that apparently it wasn't long enough, so they added some channel iron to the back. I like the spare tire rack. That's pretty cool, and a massive stack of leaf springs and a lot of briars. This thing had been sitting for a very long time. It had little brushes, shrubs growing up around it. And it was even sitting underneath a tree. Well, that tree eventually died, and one of the limbs fell right across the hood, smashed the windshield, and let who knows what into the cab. Now, underneath this hood, you'll have to forgive me here, one hinge is wore out and the other one is stuck. Let's see, it has a 261 in there. I don't know if it's stuck or free. Do this here. I don't know if I can. Oh, good enough. Okay, my little hood prop. But as a 261, I tried to see if it was loose, but the fan just spins on the belt there. So I'm gonna have to look into this a little more. Now, if that engine could run, I could definitely use that in a project. And I really like the front end of these trucks, and I've seen where people take that grill and actually graft it into a half-ton truck. But what you can do is actually take the cab and front end of one of these larger trucks and put it directly on a half-ton frame, or 3/4 ton, or like I said, just a pickup truck frame, because all the mounting locations are exactly the same for the light duty pickups, medium duty, which is this, and a heavy duty, which basically would be my Spartan. All the mounting locations for the fenders and cabs are exactly the same. Also, this brake happens to be locked up, so I'll look into that. And interior wise, if I can get this door to open, well, that wasn't too bad. Ooh, oh yeah, it's can't even open that door. Yeah, it's pretty bad in here. Got a lot of bark and sticks from the dying tree, a lot of rat poop. Yeah, steps gone, and just mountains of nastiness. I think I even saw like some bones and a massive turd over there. And this truck did have cab lights, but I only found one of them. Now, it's got a 4-speed SM420, so I'll add that to my little collection. I don't know how the floor looks underneath the seat and underneath all this mess, but I got a broom, I got a shovel, and it's just really packed in there, isn't it? Well, that's gonna be my first thing to do, so let me hop to it. Well, for starters, got to get all the broken glass out. Be careful with that. Don't want a cow stepping on that. And I hope nothing jumps out at me. What is this? Just a massive slab of metal. Ugh. Oh God. Oh, ants all under it. Great. Ugh. Oh, there's ants living in this truck. Get rid of the old heater hoses, what's left of them. Okay, so I actually lied. I don't have a shovel, but I got a hoe. But I think this will work a whole lot better. Oh, God. Don't worry, I'll pick up all the glass that hits the ground. There's still a good bit right there. Oh, boy. Sorry, not sorry, ants. Oh, God. Now, this is all from that tree losing its bark. Time for the driver's side. Now, it's not much better, but it's not much worse. I also noticed that we are missing the VIN plate, but I have no issue there because I wasn't really expecting to get a title for a $200 truck. See, we got a reflector here that's pretty hammered. No window. Ooh, hey. Oh, wow. Look at that, an eggshell. It's a dinosaur egg. There's wires hanging down. Oh, boy. You know, come to think of it, I'm probably going to have to pull this seat so I can clean this cab more thoroughly. It's just nasty in here. And I haven't seen any major rust other than a rust hole in the trans cover there. I believe this seat's held in by half-inch bolt. Yeah, half-inch bolts holding this seat in. I think, what, 8? So I'll go get my wrench and socket and I'll be right back. Well, only 6 bolts holding in. 2 of those broke. Well, the seat's out. I got it cleaned up. I'll take care of the stuff on the ground in a little bit. But I found some goodies underneath the seat. I found these cool old road reflectors. I'll have to get them out of the little carrier here. And then you got the old reflector. You got a cool glass Coca-Cola bottle. A fuel bowl. A cab light. And I guess this is the original key because it does have one in it, but the key for that is gone. I don't know where it went off to. And already checked. I pulled this key out and it goes in, but it doesn't turn there. And also rust-wise, this is the only major rust I see here in the cab. And it's very flimsy, very weak. Oh, and I also found an old nasty radiator hose. But let's see. I guess there's a little bit of rust going on around here, or that's just some type of, either that's grease or they just have some type of sealer in there. But yeah, this is the only worst of it I can tell so far. I don't know what's underneath or behind the fuel tank here. I guess I'll pull this out sometime and clean it out as well. And I noticed this little switch here. I don't know if that has something to do with the 2-speed rear end or if it's to switch over from the original fuel tank to the auxiliary tank. But I guess I'll look under there and try to figure out what it is. Well, here are those reflectors. Still need to do a little bit of cleaning, but the reflectors themselves aren't broken. The cases aren't bent or damaged in any way, just a little bit of surface rust. One thing I like about this little holder is that it has holes so you can mount it to the inside of the cab. Might end up doing that later, but I need to find time to clean these up. It's just some spider webs. The only thing I can tell is that they have some surface rust. But yeah, I think these things will clean up real nice. Well, it's a week later and I'm going to see if this engine is free. I've already taken those spark plugs out. Number 2 and number 4 were very tight and they did not want to come out. And if you come across that, don't force them out. Just gradually work them back and forth, which is what I did. And they finally made their way out. And if you force it out, it's probably going to mess up the threads on the head itself and you'll have to spend a good amount of money to get that repaired if you want to keep the head. But I used a good amount of PB Blaster, as you could tell. You can probably smell it through the camera. But all the plugs are loose, and you can take them out pretty much by hand. So I'm going to call that a win right there. Next thing to do will be to take the valve cover off and see how it looks inside. The cap has been missing for who knows how long, so I don't know what to expect in there. And then after I do that, I'm going to take the fan, the pulley, and the belt off, and I'm going to see if I can put a strap wrench or something on the crank pulley down there and get the engine to spin. One other thing I'm going to do is take the carb off. Luckily the choke is completely stuck closed, that is, so hopefully that means that nothing has fallen into the carb and gotten into the manifold. Also cleaned up the engine a little bit with some air. It had dirt and sticks all along the manifold here against the engine. It had it all along, dirt all in this ridge here, but got all the loose stuff out of the way. So it's time to start taking stuff apart. Good thing it's magnetic. And then I dropped the damn thing on the ground. Well, here we go. Ooh, it actually doesn't look that bad, other than some acorns and some seat stuffing. Wow, that's not bad at all. See, where's the date code? Okay. B1115, or good lord, where am I saying that? B115. It'd be February the 11th, and 5 would be 1955. So yeah, I would think this is the original engine, or at least the original head. See, it doesn't look too bad. I don't see any major rust. A lot of acorns, a lot of fluff. The gasket's not broken, that's good. You can tell the date code, let's see, I don't even see it, B115. So February the 11th of 1955. Put that right there. You can tell this is a 261, 383, 6850. And if you go by that number, this is a 261 head. And then down here, well, I can't see it, but way down here underneath the draft tube, the road draft tube, is the chassis number for the block. And if you go by that, it should be a 261 as well. And then the date code should be way back there by the starter. And to tell the difference between a 235 and a 261, I don't know if you can tell back here, but there are two vertical bars right here on the end of my finger. Those are called captain's bars. I don't know where they got that name from, but if you see that, then this is then what you got is a 261. Okay, just about ready to take off the carb. Like I said, the choke was stuck closed, so all the dirt just piled up on top of the flap here. Plus, there's no fuel line going to the carb, so who knows what ended up in there. I just need to take off some of the linkage, and it's only being held on by two nuts, or two studs with the nuts, and looks like it'll be easy to remove. Now I got two more of these monojet carbs. A friend gave them to me, and he said they've been rebuilt and on a running engine. So I'm probably just gonna pull this off and set it aside. Maybe if I need to rebuild it, I'll have to, but most likely it'll just be something to add to the parts pile. The rod for the throttle is stuck in the throttle shaft here, so I have to, there we go. Let's see if that even helps one bit. Oh, actually, I wonder if I can wiggle it out. Come on now. There we go. Oh yeah, throttle stuck. Choke is stuck. Yeah. Doesn't look too bad inside the manifold. Can't even get my finger in there. Ugh. Just some condensation rust. That's all I can tell. Oh, got the belt and fan off, and I noticed a belt ended up rusting itself onto the generator pulley, so I'm gonna need a new belt. And one thing I noticed whenever I was taking that, take the fan off, see if you can see it here, there's a little metal tag right there at the end of my finger. So I was like, what could that be? So, let me get all my stuff out of the way here. I looked at the date code that's way down here by the starter, and it looks like it says D299. So let's see here, that would be April 29th of 1959, I would think. So something tells me, well, obviously this engine has a totally different block. So I wonder if they either completely wore out the original engine or chunked a rod and just needed a whole new block. But I know the head is from 55, but it looks like the block might be from 59. And I noticed the generator has been rebuilt as well. And if I recall, this truck has less than 30,000 miles on it. So I don't know if that's real or they just kind of somehow spun them back when they put this completely rebuilt engine in here. But if it's free and if I can get it to run, it won't bother me that it's a complete mismatch engine. It's day 2 messing around with this engine. I shot some PB Blaster down the cylinders. I cleaned out underneath the valve cover. A few of the valves were sticky, so I gave them a little bit of PB Blaster and hit them with the rubber hammer and got them loosened up, so all the valves are nice and free. Already got a strap wrench down on the balancer, so I'm going to see if this thing turn over. Up here goes nothing. Ooh, hey, it's moving. Oh, nice. See the valves moving. Oh, that's awesome. Feels like it's getting a little more free. I don't feel any tight spots spinning this thing over, so I was going to say that the cylinder walls are rather clean. I don't know how many times I spun it over, but I guess the more the better. Well, that'll do it for this episode. Needless to say, I am very excited that this engine is as free as it is. Honestly, I thought it was going to be locked up because it's been sitting since the 80s. And I think with a little more TLC, this thing might run. And the next time you see this truck, that is exactly what we're going to do. So hit that like button, subscribe, and I'll catch y'all later. Thanks, guys.